A fair number of people have asked whether you can reduce the administrative rights for team leaders and project managers who might have limited influence over a certain number of projects and employees and would not need to see every project and every employee in the system. So the answer is yes, and we're going to start by going to the Tools menu and choosing Users and Organization to get started. I'm going to focus on 3 users here, Ray, Fred, and Buzz. And so when I right-click on Ray and choose User Rights, I first of all see that Ray has administrative rights and that all of the items are checked here. Now it turns out that the first 11 items pertain to administrators, and the next set of items are for all users, whether they are administrators or end users. So everything's checked, so Ray has access to virtually everything in the program. When I right-click on Fred, choose User Rights, I also see that Fred has administrative rights, but many of these items are unchecked. So first of all, we can see that he does not have the ability to administer users. In other words, he can't come back into this dialog box and change his own rights and the rights of others. Now he can administer projects, clients, categories, and so on, but he cannot administer reports, he cannot edit projects outside of his own group, he cannot refresh project tasks that might come down from Microsoft Project, but he can approve time and expenses, and that is an area where you often will want these administrators to be able to look over the timesheets for the people that are working for them, make sure they are correct before sending them up to the higher managers and executives if that's how you have your approval process set up. Now we normally only uncheck this for super users because if you do, this person will be able to see every project whether they are assigned to that project or not. Looks like Fred can bypass locks, so if a timesheet is locked he can make changes to that anyway, and he can enter time and expenses for other employees. So again, this is what you'd want an administrator like this to do, be able to look over those timesheets, make sure they're correct, make any minor changes that are necessary. All the rest of these items are for every user, whether they are administrators or not, and some of these are unchecked as well. Now, this video is for administrators, but I did want to look at a normal end user, look at the rights of what they might look like. Buzz has no administrative rights, and most of these items are unchecked. In fact, it looks like Buzz only has access to the timesheet and the time log view. So quite a reduction in user rights here. Now the next thing we'll want to look at if we right-click on Ray is to choose Permission to View Data. When we look at that, we see a check mark next to the company, so that means all of the users and groups underneath the entire company are accessible to Ray. He can go into their timesheets and look at those. When we look at Fred, choose Permission to View Data, we see he has a check mark next to App Developers Only. So he has access only to those people within those groups. That means he can run reports and look at timesheets for those people only. So the next area we should look at when reducing rights for an administrator would be to go to the Tools menu and choose Projects. When you click on a project, you can see the Assign to User field. Now, this allows you to assign the projects to only those people who have influence or are working on those projects. So if an administrator does not have access or influence on a project, you can omit their assignment here. And so each project has their assignments, and so you can reduce the projects that a certain administrator sees by simply assigning them or not assigning them here. When we look at a user like Ray who has access to everything, you first of all see 6 tabs along the top, and you see a full Tools menu including the Users and Organization menu item. That allows Ray to go in, make changes to his administrative rights and the rights of others. So let's go ahead and log in as Fred. Okay, the program has restarted. You can see the new username over on the right hand side, and the first thing you notice is that there are only 4 tabs along the top instead of 6. So that's a reduction in user interface. You also see fewer projects because Fred is assigned to fewer of them. You go to the Tools menu and you see fewer menu items, including the users and organization menu item that is missing. So Fred is not able to go in and make changes to those user rights. You also see, if you look at the user section, that Fred only has access to the employees within the app developers group. So he can go in, look at their timesheets, run reports for them, but that would be it. Now let's log in as Buzz. Okay, again, the program has restarted. You see the username on the right-hand side, and you see 2 tabs along the top, and there is no tools menu here. So quite a reduction in user interface. So hopefully this has given you some insight and giving you the tools to go in and reduce the rights for those administrators who have limited influence on certain projects and employees in the system.